Hi. Okay, I am so excited about this. So we have brand new Ambassador Diamond, Brittany Cromwell, on here, and she is just going to share some tips with us of how she did what she did last month. Her story is pretty incredible. I know we had Shay on here last month or last week, and her story about going ambassador. So now we're going to hear Brittany's, and we just want to know, like, how did you find out about this business? What has it done for you and your family so far? Just the whole story deal, and then we'll get into like your actual tips of how you did what you did.
Okay, awesome. So hi, I'm Brittany Cromwell. I am a 26-year-old mom, college dropout. I have 2 kids. And before I started this business, I was actually serving tables. I did fast food. I've done it all. I was a chronic job jumper. And I also was working at a hotel thinking I was all big and bad, making $9 an hour because it was like a little more than $7.25. And I was just getting by. I mean, I thought it was normal to have kids young and like go on food stamps and get on Medicaid and like, just rely on the government. And I didn't even have a credit card. And so things were really tight. I mean, we never had a savings. We were kind of like those people that spent their paycheck just before they got paid again. And then we would constantly try to have a savings, and then we were never able to. And so because of this business, I joined because I couldn't afford the wraps. And so Katie Bevington, I don't know how many of you guys know her, but she and I went to high school together. And we were 2 different grade levels apart. She was a freshman, she was a sophomore when I was a senior. And so we didn't really hang with the same crowds of people. We actually didn't even really talk because we didn't really like each other, I guess, different cliques and all that. And it's funny how a couple years later, when you have something in common with somebody, even if it's just one thing, it brings people together. And so for us, it was having daughters the same age, really young teen moms. I got pregnant 3 days before I turned 20, and she had her first baby at 19. And so she offered the wraps to me because we were just talking about our stomachs and how horrible they looked after kids. And so because I couldn't afford the wraps, she was like, well, how would you feel about using the products making money? And so it took me 2 days to join, and I was her second distributor. And so it's crazy. It took me 9 months to go Ruby. The same month that I went Ruby, I went Emerald, and the next month I jumped to Diamond, and it's because I went to conference. And so I know we're so early in the year, but I'm praying to God that there's conference 2021. But you guys have got to get there, especially if you're new. And that was just the time when I was able to come home to my baby. Picking her up from daycare and hearing like, hey, your kid said her first words today, and not being able to see that was like the moment I drove home crying, and I was like, that's it. Like, I'm going to make the decision to figure this out, because I was kind of comfortable at that $200 a month. I was comfortable with that because we were able to like buy things. It's funny, I still didn't have a savings, but I was able to get things without like having my panic attacks and freaking out and fighting all the time. We were happier, and it was great. It was just what I needed. Or it's just what I wanted, but I wanted more. I wanted more. And so I feel like every single time I promoted in this business, getting to double, there's always something else that I want. And because I went to double, like I saw that I got from distributor to double. So why can't I get to triple? Why can't I get to press? And so I've just kept going with this business, you guys, and I'm still doing the same thing I did to get to Ruby, same thing I did to get to Diamond, except I'm finding ways to replace myself in people. So every time I promote, I say, okay, I just went ambassador. How can I get my triples to go pres and go ambassador? And so those are the key things you want to think about. And then the how, and what should I train them, and what should I teach them, and that stress that you put on yourself about that's just going to come together, because you're going to think, well, she doesn't know how to train somebody to train somebody, so I got to do that. And so every single time I promoted, I just did something different, and like I had to feel like I really earned that leadership level. And so every time I promoted, like when I was a Ruby, I was going live in my team page. I was helping people. I was training people. I was having a YouTube account and putting videos up. And so I was doing these things that a Diamond leader does before I was even Diamond. And so when I went Diamond, I was already thinking, I'm going double, because I had already promoted to Diamond in my head before I promoted an E-Suite. And so for those of you who are trying to go for that next level and you're not inspired, maybe it's because you're not doing those things to make you feel like you're actually going to get there. And so start doing those things right now and ask yourself, like, okay, if I'm trying to go Diamond, what are the Diamonds doing? They're leading power hours. They are going live in the page, they're sharing tips, they're spitting out value. And so you guys start doing those things. And so for me to go ambassador, I had to do something so different, so different. I just, had to enroll a ton of people and just get ahead. And so I was just running like a rabbit. I was crazy, just ignorance on fire. It was a mess. It was chaotic, but you know what? We'll get into that in a second. It was so worth it though, you guys. And because of this business, I've been able to gain my freedom back, my life, my time. I was able to afford to have a second child. How many people say, oh, I would have more kids, but I can't afford it. Can't even afford my dog. Like, I hear crazy stuff, you know what I mean? And so we've been able to retire Michael. We've been able to create such a large savings for our family and buy the things we need, but also do things that we want. And that's something I never was able to have, is something that I wanted. And so now I can have everything I want. And I know because I've done this, like, if I want more, I just got to work harder. I got to keep working. And so the fact that you guys are a business owner, like, success is guaranteed. Why? Because you're in charge. And so start taking yourself seriously, you guys. There's nothing else besides you that is going to make you be successful. You have everything you need right there, right in this leadership, right in that page, right in the e-suite, and what's up here and what's in here, you guys. So.
Woo, that was so good. Who is like obsessed with that last statement? Like, you have everything that you need. Drop a 2 if you're like, yes, I needed to hear that tonight. You have everything that you need. So many of us doubt, like, can I ever get there? Do I have what it takes? You have everything that you need. So whenever you start to doubt, can I really go ruby? Do I have what it takes to go ruby? Do I have what it takes to go diamond? Do I have what it takes to go double? You have everything that you need. And I love that because it just is so empowering, and it's true. Like, you do have everything that you need, because there's nothing that Brittany has that you don't have. There's nothing, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but there's nothing special about Brittany that could get her to where she is that means that you can't get there. And obviously Brittany has talents and you have talents, and so you're going to be able to reach people she wouldn't be able to, and vice versa. So use those to your strength, and use those to, use those abilities to your strength, is what I was trying to say. So, okay, how many enrollments, and I'm just curious because you're talking a little bit about this, but how many enrollments did you have personally last month? And before you answer, I am not asking this question for any of you to compare yourself and for you to be like, oh, I could never do that. That's what it takes to do this. I can't do that. The reason why I'm asking her is because I want to light a little fire under you to let you know, hey, you can do that. If she can enroll that many people, I want to open up like the glass ceiling that you've placed on yourself that says 6 customers and 3 distributors. That's all I'll ever be able to get. And I want you to open that up a little bit and be like, wow, somebody that's literally talking to me right now just enrolled that. And I'm going to find out how she did it, and I'm going to go do what she did, and I know that that's going to happen for me. Some of you have just like accepted the fact that you are a low enroller, and you don't have to be, and you don't have to be a mass enroller to be successful in this business, but why not? It's really fun to enroll a lot of people, and you make a lot of money when you do. And so I know this really quick, and this is just like a little side note, because I want to preface this and make sure that you'll understand my heart in asking this. Susan Wade is our Ambassador Diamond upline. And she said, she was like, I've always just been like, I enroll decent amount of customers. Like, I enroll like a little bit, I don't really enroll like massive amounts of people. But this month she decided, hey, I'm going to go all in with Host to Post, and I'm actually going to choose to be a mass enroller. She enrolled 50 LCs this month so far as of yesterday. 50 new loyal customers. And her most that she's ever enrolled in a month was like 30. And it's only the 17th yesterday. So like, but just because she made the decision, she didn't do anything differently. She didn't like learn a new skill. She just started using what she already knew. So with that being said, Brittany, how many people did you enroll last month? Customers, distributors, all that.
So, okay, I love what you said, the glass ceiling thing, because I was somebody that was like a 2DT, 3DT enroller kind of girl in the beginning. And it was really just getting what I had. Like, I'm like, if I can enroll 3 people, I thought to myself, well, I just looked at my numbers of who I was talking to, and I was like, okay, I just need to talk to more people. It was like, what I'm doing is working. And for those of you who are signing DTs, like, amazing. You're having more success than somebody else who isn't even trying right now. you know? And so I was like, if I can enroll one, then I can enroll 5, 10, 20, 30. And so when I went Diamond, I did enroll a lot. I think I did like 14 or 16. But you know, what's really funny is like I've always been the top enroller on the team. Now there's some months my team like out enrolls me, but for the most part, like last year under our ambassador, like I was the top enroller. And so I'm not saying that to brag. I'm trying to just let you guys know that I was also somebody that was, you know, thinking small and being like, oh yay, I talked to one person, this is awesome, and just kind of sitting on it, waiting for it to hatch. And it's like I just had to keep going. And so what really opened my mind was Eric Worre's How to Enroll 20 People in 30 Days. Ever since I saw that video, it changed my mindset. And my mindset wasn't, you know, oh, like every small win was a win. Like I needed to find big wins and create big goals. And so I made when I was going like diamond and double, and this is something I still do, I make a goal of how many people I want to enroll. And so if you need like 10 people to go diamond, I'm thinking like, okay, I need 15 to secure it, not just the 10. And even when I do sign a DT and I have them in that spot, I put their name on top of the box. So I can still see an empty box that I need to fill because I want more than just the minimum. And so whenever I do that, every single month, I actually take out a new piece of paper, or like I use my iPad. And so I'll label how many DTs I want to enroll. And so if I want to enroll 10, I'm going to say, okay, 1 out of every 15 people that I get seriously interested in this business are going to sign that week. And so I'm like, okay, then I need to find 150 people and get my opportunity video in front of them and follow up consistently. And that's what I do every single month. And I think of it like that because, and I teach my team that too, because I don't want my team to think, oh, I got 5 potential distributors and nobody's signing. What's wrong with me? I'm setting that standard for, okay, you have to talk to this many people to get this. And so I'm kind of like giving them those like standards to live up to. So that way they're not so happy over 5 people that are interested. They're still hungry for 10 more. And so for me, I took on TikTok. And so I had to start doing things, like I said, to feel like I was at that next level. And so for me, I like, my passion is people coming back to me and saying, thank you. Or like, this is amazing. Like seeing people promote and be like, I did that. Like I brought them into the business and they're changing their life. And so for me, I was like, I got to find that again. And so our team was just like, okay, this is our goal. We're doing it this month. You know, and we kind of decided that back in February. And so we're like, this is the month. And so I was just like, I have to enroll a ton of people. Like there's so much that has to be done. I had to take over. I also didn't want to do it all myself, but I knew I had to do most of the work to just like get the team inspired. And then they started doing so much work also. And so for me, when I took on TikTok, my videos just went crazy, and I enrolled between February and the end of last month, 120 distributors, I think 125. And what's funny is I didn't enroll a lot of customers. I was a good like 20 customers a month. 1 month was like 35. And last month, it was me really just helping and pouring into my team. I think every promotion that I've ever hit, I feel like I did a lot of the work at the end with my main leaders, and we kind of just like took over the promotion. And that's great and all to hit promotions, but I wasn't doing trying to teach them how to do it on their own, because I saw this timeline and this deadline I had to reach. And so me and my leaders were just trying to get it all done on our own. And then we would see next month it was so hard to maintain. And so what I started doing was I feel like, yeah, you can be an ambassador, but I want to be an ambassador team. And so I just made sure that I told everybody what they needed to do, helped them, taught them, answered questions, and I showed up every single night. So every single night for 2 weeks, I did a Zoom from 10 to 11:30, and we did a power hour, and I screen shared with my leaders and my diamonds and above. We would just go back and forth, answer questions, share tips, and we would give away prizes for anybody that signed a customer. And so that was huge for us. We had like 15 new customers in an hour and a half in our downlines coming in just by showing them and telling them what to say and do. And so my ambassador promotion, I feel like, was just bringing in tons of people and pouring into them. And what's funny too, I know I'm talking a lot, I'm sorry. What's funny too is, out of that 120 that I brought in, I had a diamond go diamond on her own in 60 days. I had, some other diamonds. I had like 4 new personally enrolled diamonds from that. Most of them did that on their own. And I had lots of rubies and emeralds and people just popping left and right? And I think about it and I'm like, dang, like back in the day, getting to double diamond, I would say I probably enrolled around 100 people. And I also found those kinds of things out of, the rubies, diamonds, emeralds, and all that out of that. But it was over the course of like 2 years. And so that really, like, thinking about that, like, dang, I did that in 2.5 months. And so really, success loves speeds. It's just you have to run to get ahead. You can't do the same thing you did last month. And so I gotta tell you, it was the team, man. Like, just pouring into the team and running with them. That's what made it happen.
I love that so much. It kind of gave me chills too, because I feel like that matches so much of like where we're at right now. So I'm like, okay, so we can do this. Like, you're pouring belief into me. Okay, we can do this.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, it's really crazy how much can change. I mean, I'm looking at my chart right now and I'm like, this double diamond wasn't even on my team in the middle of March. Like, it's so crazy, just like nuts how things are growing and changing, and like people are going from like ruby to triple diamond, and so it's just insane. Momentum and all of that. So I like the power hour idea too, because we already do power hours every night, but we could extend it like an extra 30 minutes and like all jump on and give tips and stuff like that. I love that idea. Okay, so that's something that's super important to what she said, is talking about like helping your team. And I know all of us have had conversations until I'm blue in the face, like, swim down. And if you haven't heard me say this, do your stuff, your 6 list, okay? That's posting, messaging, following new people, adding to your network, following up, self-development, all that stuff. Do your stuff, go swim down. Go do more stuff for your own personal enrollments, go swim down. So for me, what that looks like, and I want all of you to be doing this with your teams, is go and, get some host to post up, and then go do a coaching call. Go do host to post, or go, follow up with some people, and then go back and help your team with some slides for their Instagram story about the $49 kit deal. Whatever it looks like, do your stuff, go swim down. Do your stuff, go swim down. Think big, think small. Okay, that's how you're going to get this promotion, because it can't just be one person enrolling all the volume. And if it is, that's going to be draining, and that's a really good recipe for burnout. If you are the top enroller by far on your team every single month, then it's not going to, like, you're going to have to continue to keep up that pace to be able to maintain it the next month. And then it's just you, and it's not as fun. Like, this is the most fun promotion that I've had so far, like, by far. So, it's so much fun to do it with everybody. And there are people on this team, by the way, who have out-enrolled me customer-wise this month so far, and that's been so cool to watch. It's the first time ever this month that's ever happened. And it's not because I'm not enrolling a lot of customers. I am, but y'all are killing it. Like, it's insane. So I'm super pumped about that. So I was super excited. Okay, so how important is it to be the hardest worker on your team? I was just talking to some leaders, and I was like, you need to be the hardest worker. Doesn't necessarily mean the top enroller, although it could be, but being the hardest worker on your team. I would never tell my team to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. If I'm waking up early, then I'm going to bed late, I'm waking up early, and I'm going to teach you to do those things, but I'm going to do it more than you. Like, I'm going to go to sleep later than you. I'm going to wake up earlier than you, and I'm going to be the hardest worker, and I'm going to dig my heels in deep, and I'm really going to work for this promotion, because I don't expect somebody that just came in to work as hard to go ambassador as I am. And so how important is it to be the hardest worker and to show that, like, by example, not just telling them what to do?
Not only is it important just like for cabs and your business and, doing what you have your own goals set as, for you. And because I feel like if I'm not doing like the work, I don't feel like myself, and I get in this weird headspace. And so I know, like, I don't want to be there. And so I got to do something. And so like, I don't need a podcast. I don't need a book. I don't need anything. I just need to get somebody in the system. And so I always, always, always want to do the most. And like, I love what you said is because like you don't have to necessarily do all the enrollments on your team to be the hardest worker. Being the hardest worker means you're literally dedicated 100%. You're pouring into your team. You're doing everything that you can think of while somebody else isn't, you know, and that's going to inspire that person who's struggling with that one thing that you're excelling on. And if you don't learn it first, your team's not going to learn about it. Like if I didn't read that book first, I couldn't have told my team to read it and then see the difference in how they're showing up. And so it's so important that like you do the best that you could do. Like, just like they say, like, how do you work your business? Well, I'm like, I work my business anyway. Like if I can use TikTok, I'm going for it. If I know, you know, Facebook Live is working, I'm doing it. Like anything that you can do to show your team what's working, they're going to do. And so think about it. If you're not doing something that you're afraid to do, then your team's not going to duplicate that because they don't see you do it. So they don't even know to do it because you're not doing it. And you also got to think, as you grow as a leader and more people get under you, that's more people not doing that one thing, which is going to create a huge hole in your organization of where there could be more volume. Think of it like a giant circle, and everything you do, journaling, self-development, host to post, signing DTs, makes up that circle. Like anything that you're not doing, you're literally taking away like chunks of that circle. And so I want my circle to be whole. I want to do everything. And so you guys find the fun in it. Like I love host to post because it gets me excited. I'm making money. I'm making cabs. I'm making fast starts. Same thing with journaling. I feel amazing. I feel incredible. And like I'm a happier person throughout the day. So don't look at them as tasks and chores to do. Look at it as how are you going to feel after that? And I know I'm going to feel good. And so I think it's so important because your team, like I know we always say it, your team is going to do what you're doing, but they're also, you got to remember this, they're not going to do what you're not doing. Did I say that right? Hold on. They're not going to do what you want them to do if you're not doing it. There we go. So you got to also think about that because once you stop doing something, I promise you your team is going to stop doing it as well. And so sure, give yourself a break. Take that time if you need that mental break. Like I had several mental breakdowns last month. Okay. It's fine. But you get back in and you start showing up in every single way that you can. And so, you know, I just remember, Morgan, like last month, I was like, what else can I do? What else can I do? Okay, I finished this. What else can I do? Before I put my head down and got lost in host to post, I wanted to make sure my team was taken care of. I wanted to make sure everybody was good. And I'm not micromanaging. I'm just helping. And that's what you're there to do. And so then I would say, okay, I've helped enough. And then I worked my business last after I made sure my teams were rising and they were taken care of. And so I just try to put my team first and then take care of what I do, but don't use taking care of my team and trying to pour into so many people as an excuse why I'm so busy and why I can't do my own, things that I have to do.
I love what you said about like, don't worry about like it being a task. Like think about how you're gonna feel afterwards. And that is so good. Like drop a 3 if you're like, yes, that spoke to me too, because so many of us are feelings based, emotions based. If you are a blue or a yellow, which so many of you are, or like one or the other or both, you are very feelings based. So stop worrying about like, oh, I have to get this and this and this done. If you were a yellow or a blue, that sounds absolutely dreadful. But if you're like, wow, I'm going to feel really good whenever I get that done, then that's going to feel really good. And a red likes that too because you feel accomplished. And reds like feel accomplished. And so you're going to feel really good when you start doing those things and like doing host to post, doing the boring stuff. Some of that may not be fun, but you're going to feel good when you get that host to post up. You're going to feel good when you hit that goal. You're going to feel good when you sign that customer. You're going to feel good when you hit that promotion. So don't work based on how you feel right now in the moment, based on how you want to feel in the future, but work based on what you want. And so many of you are working based on, like, oh, well, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that, but you want this promotion. So work for that. you know, right now I could literally sleep for, you know, the next 3 Tuesdays, but I'm not going to, because I'm just going to work based on what I want. And I want to sleep, but I want to ambassador more. You know, I want to do all these things, but I want to go ambassador more. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Do I want to go hang out with my friends? Yeah, but I want to go ambassador more. I got invited to go to the beach on the 30th. I said, nope, can't go. Gotta go ambassador. And I told them, I'm saying no to things now so I can say yes to every single thing I ever want to say yes to later. Decide right now, and this is like really off topic, but I guess it just, the Lord was telling me to say this, it just started flowing out of my mouth. So y'all, say no to little things now so that you can do the things that feel good later. It may not feel good in the moment, but you know it's gonna feel good later. So I love what you said, because I've never really like thought of it that way, even though that's like how I've thought about it. I guess I've just like never said it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, okay. So what are some volume boosting tips that work for you and your team? I know you mentioned like doing those power hours and stuff like that at night. What did y'all do? I talked to some of my leaders about some of ours, but I'm going to write down like some that you have too.
Yeah. So I just want to say too, I just got off the call before this and I explained this, but I'm going to say it here because I know a lot of you weren't on the call. Some of you may have been, but okay. So I actually, at the beginning of the month, had a really slow month last month. And it was kind of like a waiting to see, am I going to get a good start around the 10th? Like, am I good? Like, I was putting people in the system, but my mindset was like so afraid to say, okay, I'm doing it. Even though like I had decided out loud, I'm doing it, my mind was still unsure, right? And so I kept track of all my volume. And so I have this book. It says, this is the start of something beautiful. I was like, oh my God, coincidence, like of all notebooks that I picked. You know, and then I kept track of my volume here. And so I started writing down the days. And so when I have other papers, but I started this one on the 20th. And I had a sheet for every single one of my leaders and what our main boxes were right here. And I had the volumes and we updated it every single day. And so we knew where we needed volume. So that way we could, you know, pour into that team and really work with that team, like as a group instead of individually. So we did like small groups. And so me and my triples, we'd be like Zooming with their downline at a time and we just worked together at night. And so that helped a lot with volume boosting because I feel like the blues and the yellows, I mean, anybody, like they want to be working with other people that are also promoting. And that was a huge thing because we felt connected, we felt as one, and we felt like it was really just not just team, but we were friends at that point, and it was a lot of fun. And so that's what we did as I got really close to everybody that's promoting, and I'm going to be doing that every single month because not just for my own benefit, but for them because they need that. And I feel like sometimes we forget that personal connection is so important. We start talking through group chats. You guys, messaging somebody directly, getting on the phone with them, getting on Zoom with them was huge for our team. And we just felt like a new level of friendship. And that was huge. And so my volume last month on the 20th was 126,236. And so I was actually halfway on the 20th. And so some of you guys going for promotions this month, you may not be halfway right now. I want to let you know I had 2 more days after that and I was just halfway. And so our team brought in crazy amounts of volume. And so I just want to say that to that person out there because there's got to be someone who's like so nervous to go for it because you're not halfway yet. I feel like that's the mark where you're like, okay, I'm going to run. Like start running now. I looked at that number and I was so afraid of it. But I knew faith had to come over fear. And so every single day I saw the volume go up. And so I feel like sometimes I'm afraid to even check my volume because I don't want to have that feeling of disappointment. And so I actually started tracking it and I was like, oh wait, I don't have to be nervous about like checking it. I want to fall in love with every single volume. And so I started saying, okay, I got 50 volume here. Oh, thank you God for that volume. I'm so thankful for it. And so I started just like being grateful for every little bit of volume instead of thinking, oh, it's only 50. I need 500 right now. Like I was so grateful for everything that I feel like my mindset and my attitude stayed so positive because I was focused on what was coming in and not what wasn't there. And so every single day we updated it and we just ran. We did a lot of different things. But I think one thing that was great was using Google Documents. And so I know we have team pages and like we have units and things like that. But I think just having a Google document that I could write everything out on and like exactly how their combo should go was great for my newbies. And we had so many newbies, but they were trying to do host to post. And I feel like, sometimes things get lost. And then in the team page, it's like a post, it's not physically there in front of them. And so we made Google Documents with what they had to do and say, and we sent that to them. And so that way they could just always open it up and go off of that. And that was like my full conversation. And so everything that was working for me, I taught them that through there. Once our DTs got their 6, we just focused on them getting their 6, and then we started to teach them upselling. And so my upsell message is, and I also created a Google Documents for that, so I could teach them how to upsell as well. And so it kind of taught them like the host to post Google document was there. That was what we sent them first. Then they got their 6, and then we sent them the Google document to teach them how to upsell. And so that was easier for them to comprehend because they got down the first one so great. And so it was we taught them to do the same thing, get people's number to text them to get them as a customer in the system. But we taught them how to say, oh my gosh, you have unlocked, 40% off any other product right now. This is what you can choose from. And so then every single person on our team knew how to use this upsell message because I literally in the Google document showed like, person says this, you say this, person says this, you say this. And so it was so detailed that nobody can mess it up. Nobody can mess it up. And so we did a video explaining that. And then when I sent the Google document for upselling, I also sent the video that taught them how to upsell. And so in my video for my upsell, we also have different ways to upsell that we taught them, and basically tried to kill their fears of being afraid to ask. And so that was huge for my team, is everybody that wasn't upselling before, once they saw our video, it kind of like killed that fear of them being afraid to ask. And now everyone was getting large volume orders. So that was huge. Another thing we did was in our team chat, we listed everybody that was promoting and we said how much they needed. And so I had a specific chat for just my diamonds and above that were promoting. And then they had their own separate chats and it kind of like just went down. So I would only communicate with my diamonds and they would relay the messages to their chats. And so when I sent something to my diamond on what the contest was, they would tell their team. And so different teams had like different contests, based on, where everybody was at. And so I wouldn't go to my top enroller and say, hey, if you enroll 500 volume, I'm giving you this. I went to the people that weren't doing a ton and we needed them to bring in volume. So that was big too. But in the individual chats, what we did was we would say, Brittany's going triple, she needs 10,000 volume. And then we would list her main people underneath it. And then their chat would say, like, it'd get down to the bottom where people were going ruby and it would say, this person's going ruby and here are her 400 boxes. And we would list the names and then it would say the volume and how much they needed. And so we would update that daily. And so everyone was booming. Everybody was like shouting themselves out. And every time somebody boomed, they had to share the script that they used or they had to share a tip. And so that was really important because that way, like when somebody boomed and they say, I followed up with 5 PDTs or PLCs, whatever, someone would say like, okay, share your script. And then everyone was just like collabing off of each other and new friendships were made and new volume was just coming in from people I haven't even like trained yet. And we had so much layered leadership going on. It just worked out so perfectly, but the contests were huge. The Zooms, everything, every night were huge. And we also did a boom contest. And then I think what was really, really awesome was when we reached out to each person individually and we said, hey, you are a part of a huge promotion this month, whether you know it or not, and you're a key player in this promotion. And so I just want to let you know we need you for this. And we are giving away blank to you if you bring in X amount of volume. And so that for some people really inspired them because not only were they like, oh my God, I'm a key player, but I'm also going to get, a product of choice out of it, whatever. And so we just gave away tons of little things. I mean, we gave away Starbucks gift cards and we gave away, products and things to people that we really needed volume in areas. And they were just loving it because they wanted to help with our promotion. And they also wanted to win the thing. So it just worked out really perfectly. So I would say upselling and getting away to have that communicated all through your downline, making sure everybody understands, and also knowing exactly when we had to promote. So people were so focused on doing it by that time that we didn't have like, you know, people not knowing what they had to do. And that was key, is like spending that one day, even though you just want to focus on volume, just knowing every single person, even down to 400 boxes, know exactly what they need to do, and that they have a plan, and that they're confident and their mindset is good. We just had to make sure all of that was aligned. And then it just kind of happened. And you guys, like, every single day the volume jumped and it jumped and it jumped. And I still remember waking up on the 25th and I got on a Zoom with Lachelle and she was like, yeah, I'm only like 10,000 away. And I'm like, I'm 65,000 away. And she kind of looked at me like, oh. And like, I was like, I'm doing it. The devil's not going to get me on this one. Like, I have all these fears in my head, but I'm doing it. And she didn't write me back because I don't think she wanted to be like, oh, good luck. You know, I knew in my heart that I had to do it, even though several people around me, not her, but like tons of people were like, are you sure you want to go for it? Like, that's so far, that's crazy. And I could have let that get to me, you guys, but I totally did it. I didn't. I knew I had to do it. And so we just kept going. And then I woke up on the last day of the month and I was 20,000 away, 20,000 away in the morning. And I just remember crying because my whole like month, I was so MIA. I was MIA from my kids, from my man, from everything I had to do. I mean, I didn't even want to open bills to pay them. I was like, I don't care if it's late. Like, I just need volume. Like, I was so focused on this promotion. I put my life on hold and I was like, I cannot go another month. I can't. And so I just remember I cried all morning. I cried so hard. And I just like, I literally leaned in and I was like, God, I need your help. And that was the day that I just like, I said that and I took a shower and it's like I came out a new woman out of the shower and I just knew that God was there. And declines ran and people started placing side orders. All their customers were placing side orders and it just like we kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And at 10 o'clock at night, we were still 5,000 away. And this is where my team had literally all promoted, you guys, but they were getting their customers to place side orders. They were working for me. And so they had already won, but they kept going for me. And if I didn't have my team, I wouldn't have promoted. Like, if I didn't have more promotions outside of what I needed, my group volume wouldn't have been there. So that's the huge thing right here that I want you guys to know is like find ways to get more volume outside of what you need, because it's crazy. Like, we had so many people that we connected with and we said, hey, you're a part of our promotion. You're a part of our promotion. And we didn't need them. But truth be told, like, we did. And now those people are going Ruby this month. And I'm like, I don't even know how this happened. And so, you know, we kept going and pushing. And so that was huge too, is like on the Zooms every night when we gave away products. We also gave away messages for them to send to all of their current customers. So we taught them how to pull open their tree viewer, and we would have rubies reaching out to their 400 boxes, declines. And we would also find our archived, did I say that right? Archived, right? Archived tree viewer. And I was personally texting every single person and saying, hey, this is Brittany, and It Works rep. You know, I helped so-and-so back in the day, and I just wanted to let you know about a promotion we're doing. And so I got extra volume there too. And another thing, what was the other thing we did? We got side orders placed. We used Connect. That was huge. So we did a Zoom with everybody underneath me that was promoting, and we screen shared how they could mass message their customers, because in Connect, if you go to contacts, there's LCs and it's grouped together. I don't know how many of you guys knew that, but you could actually have every customer you've ever enrolled in that group, and you just go down the list and send a message. And so we were asking current customers to place side orders on top of the archived LCs. And so I did a Zoom how to teach them that and how to screen share that. And I screen shared, my lash is going crazy. This is great. And I screen shared how to teach them. Oh man, it's stuck. Okay, how to teach them how to message all their customers. And so I had my whole team messaging their customers to place side orders. And so that brought in so much volume as well, because lots of people on my team didn't even know that you could send those messages. And so it just came together, you guys. Like, we had the contest, everybody knew what they needed. We had promotions outside of there, and we taught everybody how to upsell, and they also were going after their promotions. And so at that point, like, our team just knew what we needed. I kept a tracker. It was like a thermometer. And so I would fill them in every hour where we were on the last 2 days. And we worked up until 1 a.m. So at 1 a.m., I didn't find out I was an Ambassador Diamond until the next month. Literally, we kept pushing. We were so far. And most people would have bought it out or whatever. Our team kept going. We kept working. We kept putting people in the systems, and it just came together. It was meant to be. But it was something that I needed to earn. It didn't come easy. And so even when I thought, like, for a second, like, okay, this isn't going to happen, I had to snap out of it. I had to lean into God. I had to pray over it. I had to listen to Tony Robbins. Like, I had to choose to become better in my mindset, like, because it wasn't good at times. And so just know, like, even successful people don't think positively all the time, but they acknowledge that and they choose to snap out of that. So that's what I did.
That is so good. I took tons of notes. I'm super excited to implement some of those tips. And the last thing that you said kind of leads me into our very next question. And it's just like, what did you do when you did have a hard time truly believing that you could make it happen? Because I know, like, I've been live every single day on the team page, which was not my original intention. I was just going to go live the first 2 days. But then I didn't go live the third day, and my team all but rioted in the streets, and they were like, "Where are you? Are we calling Ambassador or what? What do we need? Tell me." I was like, okay, so we've been live every single morning, but they've seen me cry. They've seen me be like, "Woo, we're doing this." They've seen me be like, "Guys, it's not happening." So they've seen it, like, all already. And so I've always been transparent with them. Like, I've had my moments of doubt. So today's been a good day. So today's been an up on the roller coaster, but, like, when you doubt, and I know so many people on this team can relate to that too, what do you do whenever you feel like that? Do you just, I mean, Tony Robbins, that was a good idea. I'm just going to start listening to him and let him yell at me a little bit and be like, "Get your crap together." He doesn't say crap, but you know what I'm saying. So what do you do?
I have a moment. I let it out. But I know, like, if I want to be successful, I can't keep thinking that. And so I actually have to sometimes look in the mirror and say, "I'm doing it. I'm 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 doing it." And, like, literally say it to myself until I believe it. But I also journal. And so I think if you can write it out as if it's, you already know it's going to happen, there's nothing your mind can go off of that's going to be like, "Oh, no, it's not," because you're already thinking it's already happened. And so I was literally writing out, like, "Everything came together. Thank you so much. Da 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 da," writing my future memory of what I wanted to happen. And so anytime I get there, I just, like, I mean, you're human. Like, I cried. Like, I cried, I sobbed, and then I would say, "Okay, I don't like this feeling. Like, time to move on." And I would just literally get back on my phone and I would try to make myself feel good again. And that was signing a customer. And so it's that self-discipline where you're like, snap out of it. You've got to do that for yourself. That is not something that can be taught to you. It starts with your eating habits. It starts with waking up in the morning. It starts with doing something when you said you were going to do it and not prolonging it. And so how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so let me say that again. How you do one thing in your life is how you do everything. And so if you want to get better at your business, at your mindset, start with making your bed in the morning. Start with waking up earlier. Start with doing things that you know you have to do on that to-do list and feel good. Like, you're like, oh my God, I did it. I feel awesome. That's going to feed off into all areas of your life. And so I just started changing everything about what I was doing. And that just became a habit. And just like, you know, what do? You have to do it like a certain amount of times and then it becomes a habit. You have to force yourself, you guys. There's nothing that's going to make you feel better except forcing yourself because you know you deserve better and because you don't want more, like you need more because you want it so bad. And so that's just what I do is like I'm just like if I do this, my family and their like food, our house, everything's on the line. Like if I stay comfortable, you're not going to stay comfortable. You're actually going to fall back a little bit. You're not going to stay there. Like you're going to fall back. And so I just always look at like I'm doing this for my family. That's another thing too. And so you just got to look at that dream board and just know like, hey, if I did everything on that dream board last year, I'm going to do it this year too. And so that's just my mindset is like I do not want to stay here and I will not, no matter what. You got to be stubborn. Be stubborn.
That is so good. Thank you. I like that you just started off with like, I let myself have a moment. I always try to like, I'm like, no, I have to hold it in. I can't let it be like, I can't think this way. I can't have that doubt, but like letting yourself feel it for like 2 seconds and then just moving on is going to help you more because if you just try to pretend like it's not there, then you're just going to feel it even more whenever you try to suppress it. And it's just going to come back even more and even sooner. So just allowing yourself to feel that and then moving forward and letting that go. So, okay, we only have a couple more minutes. So what are just like, do you have anything else that you just like want to say, anything else on your heart, any last inspiration or belief or vision or whatever? Just have the floor. One last little whatever you want to say.
Okay, so I just truly believe that you guys have to pray over this and you have to know like if you ask you shall receive. And that was a huge thing for me last month is like how could I ask for help and not receive it when I've always received it. And so I just knew that it was the time. I knew even though I was so far, I had to sometimes I had to force myself into saying like this is it. This is it. Kind of like I was my own parent like pushing me like saying no you're going to do it, you know. And so just be that person for yourself. Be that person that, you know, even at the end of the day, you're still going when you want to give up. And I don't think there's anything special besides knowing that, at the end of the month, special things happen, magical things happen. It's like Disney fairy dust. Like, it's just like, what? How'd that happen? And so, just, wouldn't you rather give it your all and not make it than cut yourself short right now? You know what I mean? And so, I think it's really important to remember, like, God isn't turning you into something. He's just unveiling like what he already sees in you. And so just remember who you're becoming, whatever happens, is like gonna be like such a powerful growth between like the, your whole entire journey. Like that knowing like what I've gone through, like all the failures and losing rank and falling short so many times, like that has made me who I am. And it's really like it's just so amazing to see like the growth that you guys are going to make over the next couple of years because of what you're doing right now. And so just remember like dreams can come true. Like this was a dream and it became my reality just because I decided. I decided. And so you just have to make that decision. Like how many of you guys put a 1 in the chat? Have you decided this is your month? Like, or put a 2 in the chat if you're still doubtful. Because even if you're doubtful, you guys, I want you to know this can still be your month because that was me last month. And so you really just got to unite with your team and do it together. And without your team, you guys, you can't do it. And so don't try to do it all on your own. Don't try to do it all on your own.
This was so good. Thank you so much for doing this for us. I'm going to stop the recording.